Have you ever realized that you are more like your parents than you wanted to be? And have you always wanted to let go of the family pattern and script that they have placed upon you? In today's episode, we're going to be talking and discussing about how family and parents shape our childhood and how this affects us in adulthood as well.
And welcome back, everyone, to another fantastic episode with Jayson Infinite Magic and
Allison and Jayson.
Welcome back, everyone. The reason why we're talking about this subject is I had a conversation during one of my breaks with somebody, and he said to me, "Why don't you have a conversation about this topic?" Because he's fascinated about how people are shaped through their families, who they become as an adult, and the patterns that we take on from our parents, our mother and father, and even our siblings as well. How different or the same we are compared to our family or parents. So we thought this is going to be a really interesting topic today to talk about.
Yeah, that's a really interesting conversation because you and I have very different upbringings and we have very different ways of looking at life from our upbringing as well. You are very more fiery, whereas I'm very chilled and relaxed. However, I do have that fire element within me, but because of my upbringing as well, and also because of the parents that you come through, it can also determine how you will be when you grow up. Saying that, not every child is like their parents.
No, but we all carry certain traits.
Yeah, we do.
With our parents. We've talked about this before with the mother and father pattern, and this is on a similar thing in a way. So, if you want, I mean, you can go. So we need to talk about this more in a positive manner. Not go into the deep dark shadows of our upbringing on levels.
No.
And just talk about the positive aspects of what's shaped us and how we've become who we are today.
Yeah.
Because I believe that with the mother-father pattern, you take on and you use the gifts and tools that they both have, and then the things that don't serve you, which are outdated or not working for you, especially now, because life's changed so much, we all are needing to do and evolve differently or keep up with the times. So it's going to be... It is an interesting discussion because it is about... I said to you, the saying is, you give me the child or the boy or the girl, and I'll give you the man, give you the woman. Because from that, it takes from whatever 0 to 7, you are really shaped. And that shapes from the parents or your siblings or even like teachers and everything like that. You're shaped and conditioned a certain way, which sets up a foundation for you. And you'll find that you do carry that into adulthood. And some of that foundational work or programming to be negative or positive can be a negative or positive for you as you get older and you are working on being your own person. So you've got this big tapestry going on. Yeah. With all of that. So it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, it is an interesting topic. However, I know you want to point on the positive, and yes, I agree with that. We point on the positive, but you won't know the positive until you actually understand what it is you don't want, like you said before. So if, for example, you don't want certain things from that you are similar to your parents that you feel like are not, beneficial for you, then those are the things that you would also need to look at as well. So you can move on and move forward and be more positive and understand what it is you want as well and how you want to be too as an adult. For example, I'll use my own upbringing. My parents are they are go-getters on a level, but they're very chilled and very relaxed and want things a lot easier. And as they get older, they're very, my mum lies in bed, but she's always done that kind of thing, and she's just very relaxed at the same time. I feel like I have taken, not necessarily lie in bed, but I have taken that kind of very chilled, very not very motivated stance with me, that now I have to break free from that, or I have to become my own person. And because that is the programming of when I was a child, possibly, it's something that I need to constantly break through. But without that, I wouldn't know what it is that I want to break through. Whereas for you, for example, you've told me that your parents have always been go-getters, fast-moving people, which would explain why you're a fast-moving person now. So we are very different, but I know with mine, I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as what are the things that I don't want to be anymore, and how can I change that within myself. And also sometimes for me, it is a continuous breakthrough or a continuous job to try and always move forward, even though I've got that in the backstage.
Yeah, you have that aspect of yourself which just wants to chill.
Yeah.
However you want to chill, movies, YouTube, whatever it is.
It's kind of like just watching life pass you by. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the pattern with your parents in a way. Yeah, so you've got that. No, I mean they both worked and everything like that, but they've never had really, well, my perception, not a lot of drive to create dreams or an empire or anything like that.
And I feel like that's with a lot of people, because I was actually processing that this morning with my own family lineage, that I feel with a lot of people, sometimes they get a bit hard on themselves and hard on life because their life hasn't gone the way they wanted it to go, because they weren't able to create what they wanted to create. And that can also come down to, let's say, environmental situations. So for example, my father wanted to be a musician because he loves music. He always wanted to be a musician, but because of certain circumstances with life and also the time period of when they grew up, he went into the printing industry. So it's things like that, I think, that can also diminish a person's drive.
Yeah, because he said to me it was pretty much the thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I think he get a job through one of the family members or something.
I think my grandfather might have been in the printing industry, and I know my uncle was in the printing industry, so it was like kind of like the sons carry on what the parents...
The tradition, yeah.
Yeah, the tradition.
So you hit on a really interesting point. So your dad had a dream, had a goal to be in the music industry in whatever shape, form, and he's a really gifted DJ.
Yeah.
He does little DJ events for the South African
community. Yep.
And people love what he does.
Yep.
So if he could step more into that passion, that would be more of a driving force as well. But because back in that time frame, say 20 years ago, 30 years ago,
that would be because they were born in the 50s, so around
so
about
back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Back then it was mainly about getting married, getting a house, having a family,
and bringing in the income.
Yeah. Because they came from South Africa to Australia. It would have been really hard to leave your family and friends and all that thing. So for them, it's a whole different... Because not what we're talking about, not everything fits into a box.
No.
Everybody has their individual journey and experiences, and it's shaped them to be a certain way, or to have a lot of drive or not, or just let life go by, or just chill, or just like put your hands up, I can't be bothered anymore. And as you get older, like 60s and 70s,
you kind of...
If you let it, you could just allow it just to run you over like a freight train.
Yeah, it's kind of like that grow up that's the wisdom that they can only draw from.
Yep.
And then that's the wisdom that they can only pass on to their offspring, pretty much.
And for you, you were always told, you need to get a house, you get married, have kids, because your mum's like... Grandchildren with us. And it's like, no, I can't do it this time round.
Not in this lifetime.
No, that's right. When I say next, this
Yeah.
time round. It's a whole different, because you've got culture's a part of that as well. Culture, your belief system, even
Expectation.
religion.
Yeah.
It can shape
Yeah.
a lot within you.
That's what I feel is a possibility that might have suppressed the drive because the passion wasn't there. It was the importance of bringing in money and raising a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting by as much as you can.
Yeah. Not really much of chasing or creating your dream.
Because if you're in survival, then it's very hard to start to create what you want to create.
Yeah.
Some people can do it really well. It's like it uses it as a driving force.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to make something of myself. I need to create something bigger than me and have to drive to do that. But some people are just like, it's bloody too hard, mate. And I've done anything I can to get where I want to get to, and it's just too much. So, yeah.
Whereas from your perspective, your parents are go-getters.
Yeah, so let me paint a picture of that. So my father is a carpenter, was a carpenter, builder, very gifted at that. And then he met my mother because doing an apprenticeship, and she was working and she was very creative. So, and he was very creative. So together, a really big, powerful creative force. Had me by accident because they want to spend time together first without, the big hoo-ha.
Yeah.
Back in that day, if you fell pregnant, you're pretty much obligated to get married.
Yeah.
Which they want to do anyway, but they just want some time together.
Yeah.
Which is pretty normal.
Yeah.
So as we were growing up, very similar. We did it tough as I was, as a kid.
Yeah.
With money and everything, because, the old man, I think, was doing an apprenticeship as well. So wages back then as an apprenticeship, not very much. Even though the money back then was really different to today. And then he just had a drive, always had a drive to work and get somewhere. And my mother was like very similar, but she became then the looking after the kids, because then my brother came through years later, and then her job was to keep the house, but she was working non-stop around the house, cleaning every day, trying to maintain everything. Crazy woman. So they worked on together to build something really special. So they brought this little shacky house, and then over 18 years, my father then turned that into like a 50 square house with spas and saunas and massive garage, and we had to work bloody hard for it and do a full-time job. So as I was growing up, like 6 and 7, I was really given chores to do. I had to mow lawns, had to help landscape gardening. Like there was a lot of stuff that I had to do. And I had to do the house cleaning with my mother on the weekends as well. So as a kid, I was working 7 days a week and going to school. So that's where my drive comes from. I was really thrown into, mate, you really need to work hard. And then I got a job in a milk bar. I had to get a job in a milk bar at 7. So I was really shaped to be the worker. And I was also, like your dad, being thrown into the printing industry. My father wanted me to be put into a trade. So I had all these work experiences as a carpet layer and a plumber and a builder and a painter and like all these things. It's like just drummed into me, get a trade, it's going to do you well. And I did become, for a number of years, a long time actually, painter and decorator, and then a paint specialist, and always in the trade industry. But I did want to become an architect.
That's right, you did say that.
So I studied architectural drafting for about 3 years, but then I didn't have the money to continue it. I was getting older, and so look, I just need a job to pay the bills. But I always had in me this drive and this ambition, which was from my parents, and then my grandparents are all the same as well, very driven. So I've really come from a network of people who are driven, really desiring to move forward and create something bigger than what they've ever wanted.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, they didn't stand for the small stuff. They wanted to create more for themselves.
Yeah. My parents wanted me to create bigger for myself, but I feel that they were I mean, look, my childhood's come and gone now, so I can't really do anything about my childhood. But they were very more easier on me than what your parents were easier on you. My mum wanted me to help her clean the house, but then my dad would tell her, no, she's a child, leave her alone. And then vice versa. If my dad wanted me to do something, my mum would step in and go, no, she's a child, leave her alone.
Yeah.
So they were but they always wanted me to create something bigger, but I feel like how they went about it might have not ensured the drive.
So what do you feel that you needed?
I feel like I needed maybe more of an explanation.
More communication.
Yeah, more of a communication and maybe more of an understanding of why it would have been beneficial in the first place.
Can I just butt in?
Yeah.
Because you're a pretty headstrong person.
I am very headstrong.
And I believe that when you were a teenager or in the 20s, because we've had a lot of discussions,
yeah,
that you're really headstrong and nobody will bloody tell you.
Yeah.
So I feel like you wouldn't have been open to receive even that communication.
But possibly, however, okay, so we're going to step into the little bit of the negative side that you didn't want to, because I have to use this as an example. The expectation of always having to do something for your parents or for family members now, and don't get me wrong, the feeling that I got was always, you never help me. You never do anything for me. That was always what I get. Instead of trying to explain and do it in a way that I felt was more beneficial for me, like going, can you help me? Or my mum did ask me, can you help me do this? But it just seemed things just kind of roller coasted and snowboard into a way where I feel like how things have turned out now might not have been beneficial for me, if that makes sense. I know this. I might be sounding very kind of roller coaster, but it's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, because your thing is, it's all about love language as well.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to communicate effectively on the level that you needed for you to get it.
Yeah.
In a way, what are you saying? You were just pretty much told?
Yeah.
Not really given reasons why this might be beneficial for you in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
If you do this and this, because we've got a lot of wisdom and experience in this, that will play out better for you in the bigger picture.
Yeah, it was kind of like, if they did say we've got wisdom, it's like, well, we know better.
Yeah.
It's like it's been, like you said, being told instead of being spoken to as a person. With the explanation and understanding, which I get. Not everyone has that understanding within themselves to be able to speak to people that way. And people can only go according to how they've been brought up as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm very stubborn. Yes, I'm very headstrong.
Which is really important.
Which I feel is actually...
in things that you need to do.
But, I'm just getting the memory. I was already like that when I was a child.
Headstrong.
Yeah. Because my parents told me when I was like 2, and I know a lot of toddlers, they're very headstrong kind of thing. But when I was 2, I used to tell people to stay away from me.
Yeah, because you had an intuition about some people are good and some people weren't good.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just running, doing what you're told. My parents used to say to me, used to tell me that if there was someone that was around and I didn't like them, I told them to stay there. And they had to stay there. They could not come near me. So even back then, I'm just getting now that I was probably more headstrong. And apparently, my grandmother, so my mum's mum, she was in South Africa and she came over for a holiday when I was around about 2 as well. And she would always try to dress me. And I did not want a bar of it. I would run away because I did not want a bar of being dressed. So even back then, at a young age, I was still very headstrong, which interesting now. I feel like sometimes as I was growing up from primary school to teenagehood, even to adulthood, I don't feel so headstrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But looking back at being a toddler, 2-year-old, even then, now I understand why I'm so headstrong as an adult.
And so that's shaped you to in the adult now.
Yeah, I guess it has. So go me. Go me
Yeah.
for being headstrong and knowing, you
And
know.
I feel like it's more needed because I perceive being headstrong as like more knowing what you want and what you are not wanting.
It's not really stubborn.
Mm.
It's like, well, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, what feels right and doesn't. You know, it's the different shades of the colour spectrum.
So, because one of the points we pointed out was sometimes a child isn't exactly like their parents because of whatever they came through when they were spirit form, let's say, before they came into this physical reality. So for me, possibly I came through with being headstrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember I was always diving head first into things. Headstrong. But on a level, the relaxed stage, the very chilled stage, I think I got from my parents as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting thoughts of, with my mother, she was very creative and intuitive. I get that from. I'm not really like my father. He's pretty much really worked on getting everything he wanted, all his dreams accomplished, all the money in the world he could so he could live comfortably and go and travel the world and do that.
Can I interject here? You are like your father because your father has drive.
But I didn't finish.
Okay.
So I've taken on, I'm more like my mum than my dad. Dad's a bit hard and trouble with communication because I'm a pretty rare guy. I can talk a lot and I do love communication. That's why I get on with the girls and ladies a lot because you girls love to communicate and express, and I'm very similar to that. Where I used to be able to, or try to talk to him about, because I was always a kid where I wanted to know about life, and I thought, well, you go to the parents, you go to the elders to find out more information, and I never got much out of him, the deep stuff anyway, because I didn't want to know. He had a very closed off heart. He didn't know how to express and be in that. Probably because it wasn't manly enough. I don't know.
And that also because of his own upbringing.
And that goes back to his shaping with his father as well. So again, bringing through like another generation before our parents shape our parents, then it goes down the line to shaping the kids for the next generation.
Yeah. Talking about how you're not like your dad.
But I am with the drive.
Yeah,
And it's got more serious as I've got older. Because I've said on podcasts before, I believe I came here to leave a legacy or leave something positive for humanity. And then I fell into, or it chose me doing the healing work and the artwork, and now, you know, all our YouTube stations just have this drive just to share wisdom, knowledge, everything that we're doing and I've ever done to make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
And I think grandeur.
Yeah.
I'm ridiculously grandeur when it comes to that.
I had to learn to think grandeur, but you are very grandeur.
Yeah, because I just had, and we've talked about this, and you're like, nah, it's the mission, the legacy it might be a program and stuff like that. I don't know how to get rid of the program if it is a program.
But it doesn't have to be a program. If it is a script, why not let it be a beneficial one?
Because I just feel that, you know, we can all live a really
amazing life.
And I feel like I can add my 2 cents worth to help awaken it within people or do something to support or whatever, even just sharing what we're sharing now. Some people might be listening to this and go back to when they were kids and their parents and their grandparents to see how they're being shaped.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is just a little podcast, but
it's not a little podcast.
But we have it is interesting, and take what you can from your parents and your family tribe and use the good bits and learn from the bits that didn't work for them.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, not be hard on yourself, yeah, you can create whatever you want to create.
So what we're actually discussing here is like you said, us being the children, because we don't have our own children, us being the children of our parents, we are needing to actually break free or let go of not just our parents, but our grandparents and that generation, and go on and on and on up until whatever time frame we understand. And we're just needing to know who we are. We're working on knowing who we are at the same time, while also trying to move through our parents and our grandparents' belief systems.
Well, we have chosen to do personal development on ourselves and us as a couple. Not everybody has the opportunity to do that, to go deep within yourself and really nut out the ego and the shadow and all that stuff, the ego stuff, which we get from our parents and our family tribes, stuff like that. So we've really jumped in. I know that I jumped into that because I just felt like I had to. So I spent 13 years as a personal, in a psychic personal development circle. And then after that, and during that journey, the art was there, and then I jumped into the healing stuff and the, psychic stuff, which I got from my mum. So I was just enhancing that.
So why did the person you spoke to, your colleague that you spoke to, wanted to know about this subject?
Because he likes to know how people tick.
So he's actually trying to use psychology of other people to figure out how they work, so then he understands their psychology and how to push or maneuver them.
If you can understand your team on a very deep level and how they tick and what buttons get pressed to help motivate them, that's very beneficial for a business.
Yeah.
And I get that, because so when I'm connecting with people at the department I'm in, I don't need to know their psychology, because I feel everything anyway. The people I work with, we just all want connection and a bit of fun and a bit of joy. But I will take note of if there's traumas playing out, what to say, what not to say. But you'd be surprised at how many businesses out there need to know their staff on a very deep level. Not all businesses do it. But
I guess it's a bit hard when it's a big company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, let's be really honest. If you know how somebody ticks, it is very easy to maneuver them in your favour and make them believe that's in their favour. And there are people in the world that love to do that. So people out there listening to this, as we're sharing some of ourselves, have a look and sit back and see how you've been shaped when you were a child to now when you're an adult. And have you changed or shifted anything with yourself to be maybe more of the true you, and just taking on some of the positive and maybe some of the negative stuff, because it is in our hands if we're more conscious.
Yeah.
And it is a really awesome thing to really nut out what is you and what is everything else that's being weaved or taught or programmed or whatever, including society. Teachers are a really massive shape-shifting teachers. Shapers, yeah. If people have, because I have had bad experience with teachers, and if you do that, you don't learn, you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You're just like, mate, you're just a dick. As a kid, you just turn off.
Yeah.
And if you have somebody that you totally love who's teaching you, you
listen.
You listen, you want to learn, it's really fun. But I still feel that if that bad experience with that teacher, for example, that can really pop up in through your life as well.
That's a good point too. So us as humans, we just take on everything around us.
As small children, we're like sponges.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And it's like you got to wring out the sponge in a way, don't you?
Yeah. And I think everyone goes through everything. There's not all positive and not all negative.
Yeah, no.
Everyone has a combination of everything. And I feel, if people want to be different, then they need to, maybe look at how their upbringing has formed them.
Yeah.
And see what they like and what they don't like.
What they need to change, especially if you want to create something really amazing like a business or even a relationship or a marriage or a family. And if there's things in there which are not flowing your way or being created the way you want it to be created, you need to maybe look at going back to when you were a kid with your parents and see what you are picking up or using from your parents.
And it could be as simple as a parent saying no to a lollipop when you're a child.
Yeah.
That can affect a person up until adulthood as well. Or if a child had to go through an experience where they had to give their toys away to other children that are not as fortunate, that can teach a person, well, there's no point in having anything for myself because it's just going to be given away anyway.
And that could set up a pattern of that happening for their entire life.
Yeah, exactly. Of never actually wanting anything for themselves because they're scared that it's just going to be taken away from them. So it can come down to different things.
Because that can come down to not worthy. So you've got the not worthy aspect coming in as well.
Well, the child would think that they're not worthy, but in reality, what they were doing is possibly just giving something to someone else as a gift, but as a child, you don't understand that.
Yeah. Or the other side of the coin is they grow up just wanting to give.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to become a billionaire so I can give and help.
Yeah, exactly. So, it can be multiple things from that one situation.
Yeah, it's a big tapestry, this one. It's very intricate. We were just touching the surface and just playing with it, really. But we just thought it might just be a good starting point, a good topic just to put the clothes in the washing machine and start washing. I don't know. I can't think of the... Have people just maybe rethink about if they want to... Because what I'm feeling for me is that we all have stuff and we all would like to achieve more than what we have. Not everyone, but a lot of people would. First thing is money. Create more abundance, more wealth, so they can have their nice house and go and travel and experience the world. Adventures. Everybody wants adventures on a level and go and experience that. Not be in a job, per se, that just gets you by.
Yeah.
And everybody's wanted that in the past. And everybody still needs that now in the present. And everybody's going to want that in the future. Not everyone, but there's a lot of people that would like to create something more exciting.
Yeah.
The adventure spirits, especially the people who are the adventurers, just want to go and adventure life. And I keep on saying, on many, many levels, it is a pay-to-play game. A lot of experiences, you need to have money to experience it. Unless you just want to walk in the park for the rest of your life, and that's your thing, then that's bloody amazing. But not everybody's like that. So you can't really put everything into a box.
No, because we're not all in the same box.
No, we all have different experiences.
I find this subject easy and not easy at the same time.
I agree.
Yeah. It was like when we were discussing it before, it was like, I get understand because we've got our own experiences. But now sitting here and really dissecting it on a level, it's not as easy as what I thought it was going to be.
Yep. So let's go back to us. So you've had to work on having more drive, more motivation, and since we've come together, and I'm that driving force, workaholic, madman. I mean, I was feeling so tired and so exhausted on a Saturday night, and you went out with the girls, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to get so much done. I felt so bad that I laid on the couch for 3 hours and just chilled.
See, okay, can we go to your psychology of that?
In a minute.
Okay.
Chill, girl. So the next morning on the Sunday, I got up super early just to play catch up on that. So with this, you are a bit more chilled, which I need.
Yeah.
And you need a bit more of my drive.
Yeah.
So together, we're a perfect partnership.
Yeah. We are a really good partnership. We are very similar, but we're very also opposite as well. Because I understand the need for drive. I understand the need for needing to accomplish things, but I also understand the need for taking a break as well.
Yeah.
Whereas that's what you need help with. You need help with understanding that it's okay to take a break. Whereas you helped me with my drive. Before I met Jayson, I had I wanted to create something. I was always creating, So there was a bit of a drive there of creation, but it was never really a focused creation. Whereas now with the podcast, it's more of a focused creation, and I'm learning that the drive needs to pick up with it as well. But going back to what you said about I went out and you're like, yes, I've got so much work to do and I'm going to accomplish it. And you just relaxed. If you look at your psychology behind that, you get that from your father who was just work all the time.
Yep, 7 days a week.
And never relaxed. And my thing with that is this morning, I would have gotten up to go for a walk, started really early, but I felt that I needed time for myself. And that's what you needed to do that night. You needed time for yourself. But your psychology made you feel so guilty that you took out time for yourself.
Yeah, it was good. I loved it.
Exactly. As long as you loved it and it felt amazing, then, yeah, getting up the next morning early for you so you could do it, whatever. But as long as you felt amazing in that moment, then should override that guilty feeling that you felt.
I had to spend time processing that, by the way.
Did you? Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why I got up early on the next day.
But it's very similar to me exercising and eating. Like if I want to eat something, like a cookie, then I've got to process it and go, okay, well, I'm going to go jump on the treadmill kind of thing. Yeah. But it's the psychology of your upbringing that I feel made you feel guilty so that you got up early to do it.
Yeah.
Because you as a person, you don't give yourself time.
No.
No, you don't. And you need to give yourself some time. Because if you don't give yourself some time, you could end up burning out a lot of the time as well. That's why we're good together, because we kind of balance each other out.
Yeah, when I've been single off and on, I worked harder.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah. So, okay, it's work time.
Yeah.
Bugger play, don't care. It's time to get stuff done.
And I can see that from your childhood. Yeah. I can see that from your childhood. Just like for me, I would chill out and relax, and because I'm like, I've worked the day, it's time for me to relax. Whereas now I need to go, I've worked the day, it's time to come home and do some more work, but I've got to balance that out. I have to work on how to balance that out so I get some time for me, but also be inspired to do the work that I need to do at home as well.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is, but that comes back down to our childhood. You're a workaholic because of your upbringing. I'm not a workaholic because of my upbringing. And a lot of people might be like that. Maybe if you feel like you like Jayson and you work so hard, you always work because you always feel like you need to accomplish something, you need to accomplish it, but you don't, and you're stressing yourself out. Maybe a lot of people are getting stressed out at the same time as well. Maybe they realize that they need to take a step back and have a chill day and just relax, but also feel like they shouldn't feel guilty for doing that. Where I think that comes down to childhood upbringing.
Yeah.
where you've been made to feel guilty. Your job, I'm going to bring your job in. Where you work currently, if you stand around for 2 seconds...
You're done.
Exactly. That is similar to your childhood upbringing.
Yeah, that's tiring.
Yeah. So now you understand the importance of taking 2 seconds.
I was saying to somebody the other day, he's fairly new, and he's just stressed out of his head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, mate, just breathe, as I walk past. Because I couldn't have a conversation with him, because that's not what you do. And he looked at me and he thanked me, and he took a deep breath, and he was okay. So in this particular arena that I'm in, you pretty much take a deep breath in at the door slides open, and that's it for the day. And in a way, you could say that's been my upbringing. I don't feel like on purpose, but that's just the way I was taught growing up, to get things done and to be accomplished and to be successful and to create what you want to create. There's not a lot of time to do the resting thing.
Yeah. Yet at the same time, you need a balance of both.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I've been burnt out. I've lost count.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing healings, I was also a tradie, teaching classes overnight in another relationship. So I was doing 30 plus hours doing trade work. I was doing back-to-back clients for 2 days of that as well. And then teaching classes, 14-hour days. And I just did that for years. And as I'm getting older, I'm like, I can't do that anymore. I can do a couple of healings for the day. But back to back, 8 people a day, and doing trade work and doing night classes.
So you can really see how your childhood has shaped you into the person you are today. To always be always on fire, which is great. But at the same time, it can burn you out really quickly if you're not too careful. Yeah.
Well, I tell people I'll rest when I'm dead. And as I say that, I get in my head, you're going to be busier, mate.
Well, then you might as well rest here. You might as well take a moment to breathe in between your busy schedule. Whereas for me, movement is important for me. My job entails me to move quickly as well. But I also have that part of myself that knows is like, okay, we need time out. I need a moment. That's why I never got up for a walk this morning, because it's like I need to reconnect back with myself so that I can feel what is going on with myself. Because I've gotten to a point now where I feel like everything's just so crazy busy, so rush, that that part of myself is like, we need to take a moment. Whereas you don't have that indicator of needing to take a moment.
Well, I did yesterday.
Oh, actually, you did. You did.
It's like I just didn't feel right to, and I want to be at my best as much as I can. And I just said to Allison and everyone, why don't you go and wash your car? And just take a break. We'll just have a break. So we have a bit more of a cruisy day. Because I'm telling everybody, we're doing 5 podcasts on the weekend. Just going to grind.
See?
And I'm like, I am so buggered.
See? There you go, that grinding.
Yeah, workhorse. Again, from my upbringing.
Exactly. And, you can't really beat a dead horse.
No, they don't react because they're dead.
Okay, so how can we bring this? So this is our experiences of our upbringing, where mine is more of a chilled upbringing and I need to implement more of the fire within me, whereas Jayson is so fiery that he needs to implement more of the calm summer breeze within him as well. And this is how we have been brought up, I guess, in a way from our childhood that is now reflecting us of who we are as adults.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be beneficial, like for you, it can be very beneficial because you're like, I'm determined. But then sometimes it can also be a hindrance to the person where they have something that they need to accomplish and they might go, I've got all the time in the world.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Whereas, and I used to do that when I was studying fashion. I used to go, I've got all the time in the world. And then there was one assignment that I couldn't complete properly because I left everything to the last minute. So sometimes it doesn't always work in your benefit as well. Being that cool, calm breeze, chilling.
It's a balancing act, isn't it?
It is. Everything's a balancing act.
And again, we talk about, if it's true that we're coming with a script, that'll be your script, this would be my script, and, whatever that plays out of that, and it is what it is. But it's really interesting. I really appreciate discussing this with everyone here because it gives them an example of how different yet the same we are, and it could just help other people just go, oh, maybe I need to
take a breather.
Or
maybe I need a firecracker up my ass.
Yeah. And maybe there's some things you need to let go of, refine, or that doesn't serve you from your family or society or from whatever to help you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And maybe, I'm thinking there's a lot of people out there like me who just workaholics, and they don't know how to turn off.
Yeah.
And maybe they have a partner that's the same. So I'm a bit blessed that you are a little bit more chilled, or a bit more, not laid back, but balanced.
And I'm very blessed that you are who you are, because it helps me for that drive and to stay focused as well. Otherwise, I could be the fairy, no offense to fairies, I mean the butterfly just going from, or a bee going from flower to flower.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I just grab you by the hand and just take off, and you just got to hang on for dear life.
And sometimes I just got to grab your hand and go, you know what, baby? We're going to sit by the beach and just chill for a moment.
Yeah. I do struggle with that.
You do struggle with that. You're like...
Allison's like, oh, can we go to Phillip Island on our little holiday just for a day? And I'm thinking, but all the work we're going to do. That's a great time to get stuff done. And I'm like, part of me's like, Jayson, just have a moment, will you?
It's just a day. It's just a moment. I will work, but I also need a break.
You do.
Whereas you don't, you know how to work, and you also know that you need to break, but you push through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very fascinating how our upbringing has shaped us on a level as adults.
Yeah, it is fascinating. Yeah.
So we're very similar but very opposite at the same time.
Yeah, very interesting. I want to see if I can get a message through.
Let's see how they cope with this one.
Ask for my soul group, true soul group, true heart, true wisdom, true insight. Just a little message. Yes, thank you for having us back again. Been listening to this interesting conversation, as you both do have very interesting conversations. The topic at hand is how you are all moulded from children to adults. And we love and enjoy discussion on how this plays out in your adult lives and what you pass on to your children. Some of it is beneficial and some of it is what you, Jayson, would say outdated. It is important to sit back and ponder on this discussion today, everyone. Feel what's activated within you that you may need to refine or relook at to achieve a more joyful, harmonious, abundant life. And if you have children, be mindful of what you are handing down to them that they will take on in their adult lives. And this is part of humanity's new level of being mindful of what you share with your children, because your children will eventually take on the responsibilities of running the world. So we ask you today, those of you who are listening to this podcast, to spend just a moment thinking about your childhood, thinking about how it's shaped you and what you would like to change and what you would like to keep in order for you all to evolve and always moving forward in the present moment. Very good conversation. Very pleased with this topic today. Is there any questions that you would like to ask Allison?
I'm actually very impressed that you're able to follow on with our conversation because it seemed a little scattered at times.
And this is part of the journey. Step by step, you both work it out as you go deeper and relax and breathe. We do enjoy you throwing Jayson under the bus again, as he needs to learn from you to be and to breathe in more than one moment.
But I do also learn from him as to be the go-getter too.
Indeed. And this is why you together can create anything that your hearts desire. You are a brilliant team together, balancing each other out, communicating with each other, your needs and your desires, working on the same page to achieve the goals that you would like to achieve. Yes, indeed.
A question for anyone who's listening. If they don't have a full understanding of where or when something has occurred to them that is affecting their adulthood, how can they pinpoint that so that they have a better understanding?
Ask with the intention to be shown what is holding them back, what is needing to be looked at. Sitting, just pondering, you could say daydreaming about when you were a little boy or little girl. You all have moments where your parents might have yelled at you or told you off for something that you believed was nothing wrong. Everybody has memories. So start with just going back, just looking at the pieces of the puzzle when you were children, even teenagers, even 10 years ago, because we were all moving and evolving moment to moment. But there are some, you could say, thorns on the rose bush that still niggle at you and still maybe even hurt you. If you desire to do this and have the intention of working through some of this, it will be greatly positive and beneficial to look at this, just bringing it into the conscious awareness of yourself. And even down to forgiveness with maybe your parents or someone in your life can have you feel lighter as well. It's a big topic that you are both discussing today. Does this help?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Anything else?
Not at this moment, because I have this feeling that the battery is about to go.
We do enjoy this battery scenario. Well, thank you again for having us, expressing our wisdom and our knowledge on how we perceive things. Until we meet again, blessings to you all. Goodbye.
Thank you.
So let's do a little
Closing?
closing, yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you wanted to know from them?
No, that was good.
Okay.
I feel it was important, a little bit of an important subject, and
Yeah.
just to touch on it, and we might
Yeah.
do something later on with it.
Yeah.
And hopefully from our experiences, sharing our experiences with people might get an idea of what we're trying to express and explain. And yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it has been good. It was really interesting. I'm glad that they were able to follow on from our from our scattered kind of conversation, because that was really good.
Okay, good.
Yeah. They were able to give information that was very interesting, very basic, and not basic, but it is basic and very easy to understand as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for watching and listening. And I want to say welcome to our new listeners.
Oh, yes. Welcome to our new listeners.
And welcome to the new people who subscribe and watch our content on YouTube.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We hope we are not too quirky for you.
I don't think we could be.
We can get quirkier.
Depends on the topic.
Yeah. But thank you so much. We do appreciate it. And we are working on just putting out as much positive, and if we can give some gold nuggets and people learn a little bit and have a bit of fun and enjoyment, that'd be great. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you really enjoyed our subject matter today. Whether it was strange or on point, and we hope that you have gained some insight into what we were talking about. And we hope that you either, if you're a workaholic, you find some peace within yourself. And if you're too chilled, we hope that you get some fire under your belly.
Blessings, everyone. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.